Hello, my name is Emilio Graham,
And Hayden Hillstead.
and these are my NFL quarterback carousel predictions. For the 49ers, I have Trey Lance. The 49ers trade up in the 21 draft class to draft Trey Lance. Although we have seen a little bit of him this season, I feel like he can lead this team to contention. They also have Jimmy Garoppolo, but I expect them to move on from him this offseason. For the Chicago Bears, I have Justin Fields. The Bears also traded up for Justin Fields. Although his rookie year did not go the way he wanted to, they did fire Matt Nagy and are looking for the right head coach to develop Justin Fields. For the Cincinnati Bengals, I have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has played amazing this year and has shown that he can be a leader of a franchise that is now starting to become contenders. And with the additions of Trey Hendrickson and Jamar Chase, I expect Joe Burrow to be a great quarterback in this league for many years to come. For the Buffalo Bills, I have Josh Allen. Josh Allen has played like a top 5 quarterback for the second straight year in a row and has shown that he is the answer and is confident in his arm strength to extend plays down the field. The Bills have won the division for the second year in a row and are looking to be like Super Bowl contenders. For the Denver Broncos, I have 3 options: Aaron Rodgers, Matt Corral, or Drew Lock. The Broncos quarterback room can go many ways this offseason. The Broncos could have the opportunity to trade for Aaron Rodgers if he wanted to leave. But if not, they could draft Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral, who was amazing during this college season. But if they do not like the quarterbacks from this draft class, maybe they can give Drew Lock one more chance to prove himself with the right coaching staff and offensive play calling. For the Cleveland Browns, I have Baker Mayfield or Derek Carr. The Browns had a very disappointing season, to say the least. Baker Mayfield had a down season, but could make the case since he was injured since Week 5. If the Browns decide to move on from him, I can see them trading for Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a solid quarterback, and with that defense and Kevin Stefanski as his head coach, I could see them making the playoffs. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have Tom Brady. Tom Brady has played at an elite level this year. At 44 years old, he still plays like he is the top 5 quarterback. I think he has 2 more years and will retire eventually. For the Arizona Cardinals, I have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has played great in his first 3 seasons and has shown that he can lead the Cardinals team to the playoffs and try to make a run for the Super Bowl. For the Chargers, I have Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has played amazing this season, and it is unfortunate that the Chargers missed the playoffs, but he has shown that he is that guy and will be a great quarterback for many years to come. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has played great throughout his career and has shown why he is the best quarterback in the NFL. Colts, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had a decent season, but when they needed him the most, he did not contribute. The Colts stuck with him with no first-round pick and could possibly select a quarterback in the second round, but as far as I know, I see Carson Wentz as a starter next season. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Dak has played well this season and deserved his extension. The Cowboys look like contenders this year and are hoping that Dak can lead them to the Super Bowl for many years to come. Dolphins have Deshaun Watson and Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins have shown no faith in Tua, but could be stuck with him. It was reported that Deshaun Watson wanted to play for Miami and could very much end up a Dolphin. But if that's not the case, Tua will be given another chance to prove himself with a new head coach. Eagles, I have Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has played well this season when no one expected him to lead the Eagles to the playoffs. If the Eagles build around him, get him another receiver that is good and some defensive backs, Jalen Hurts become a great quarterback in the future. For the Atlanta Falcons, I have Matt Ryan and Malik Willis. Matt Ryan is rumored to be the Falcons quarterback next year, but I think they will draft Malik Willis to be his replacement when Matt eventually retires. Washington football team, Kenny Pickett. The football team needs a quarterback desperately. Taylor Heineke is not the answer for the football team and will be looking to draft a quarterback. Kenny Pickett will be the answer for the football team, in my opinion. Giants, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not the quarterback of the future, but they need to address the offensive line first. The only way I see them moving on from Daniel Jones is if they acquire Russell Wilson, but he's most likely to stay in Seattle. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence did not have the season he wanted, but I feel like with the right coach staff and offensive weapons, I expect him to be a decent quarterback in his future. Jets, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson struggled in his first weeks as an NFL quarterback, but showed how he can be great in the last coming weeks of the season with no offensive line help and without his top 3 wide receivers out. I expect Zach Wilson to bounce back next season. Lions, Jared Goff. Jared Goff's first season in the Motor City did not go as planned, but it showed how his team never quits on him. If they can get a solid play caller and a couple of good wide receivers this offseason, I expect him to bounce back. Packers, Aaron Rodgers, or Jordan Love. If Aaron Rodgers does not win a Super Bowl this season, I expect him gone and beat a Denver Bronco in the future. With Jordan Love taking over, I do not see the Packers going far, but that could be the case. Panthers, Jimmy Garoppolo. The Panthers need to acquire a quarterback immediately this offseason. Sam Darnold is not the answer for the Carolina Panthers, and Matt Rule is on the hot seat. Jimmy Garoppolo could help the Panthers out with the right type of play calling like he has in San Francisco. The Panthers have the weapons and a great roster besides the quarterback position, and I feel like can be decent contenders with Jimmy G at the helm. Patriots, Mac Jones. Mac Jones has made a solid rookie year and has shown that he can lead the Patriots to playoffs. If the Patriots can get him a true wide receiver one like Calvin Ridley, I think he could become an elite quarterback in the NFL. Raiders, Derek Carr, or Baker Mayfield. The Raiders have surprised everyone by making the playoffs. If I am the Raiders and we did not make it far in the playoffs, I think it's best if they trade Derek Carr for Baker Mayfield and a couple of picks to start over. Baker Mayfield is not a bad quarterback, but if they can get him a solid coaching staff with the right play calling, and if he is healthy, I can see him as a borderline elite quarterback. Rams, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has been great this season and will lead the Rams to the playoffs for many years to come. Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got hurt and the Ravens missed the playoffs, but I expect him to be back as the Ravens quarterback next year, and he will most likely get an extension soon. Saints, Jameis Winston. I thought Jameis played well before he got hurt. I think he deserves another year as a Saints starter, unless you can acquire a top-caliber quarterback like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. Seahawks, Russell Wilson. Personally, I do not see the Seahawks moving on from Russell Wilson, but I would not be surprised if they do at the same time. Steelers, Marcus Mariota. I think Marcus Mariota would help the Steelers out with his mobility. Marcus Mariota deserves another starting job in the NFL, and that is in Pittsburgh. Texans, Davis Mills, or Tua Tagovailoa. Deshaun Watson will be traded by the draft, and they will probably trade him to Miami. Will they acquire Tua and picks? I don't know, but if they might just want picks and build it on Davis Mills instead. Titans, Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill was given an extension and is the guy for the Titans. And finally, the Vikings. Kirk Cousins or Drew Lock. Kirk Cousins has been solid, but is not worth $45 million guaranteed. I think they could possibly move on and acquire Denver Broncos quarterback Drew Lock. If they can get the right coaching staff and play calling for Drew Lock, I can see him becoming the quarterback in the future and that everyone else wants to be. All right, there we go.
For my quarterbacks, personally, I'm going to go alphabetically. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Stays. Started off hot, got hurt, dropped off. No reason he shouldn't be good next year. Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan's probably going to be last season. He's going to have one last dance. Falcons might bring in someone just in case. I wouldn't doubt it. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar runs it back. Ran into a couple of issues with COVID this year. No reason he shouldn't come back and be the dual threat that we know he is. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Not much to say about Josh Allen. This dude can do everything, and he is one of the top receivers in the league. No reason should his play drop off, other than the fact that Brian DeBoer is leaving, but I'm confident he can overcome that. Carolina Panthers. Panthers started off good. Sam Darnold specifically had a lot of rushing touchdowns early in the season, but then they fell off a cliff. Would not be surprised if the Panthers took Kenny Pickett specifically in the draft this coming year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was a day one starter. Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. For the Bears, they traded their first-round pick last year to move up to get Justin Fields. As a Chicago fan, you'd probably want to see more production from him in his rookie year, but I think he can definitely evolve if they bring in the right guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more on the running game from Justin Fields next year. I wouldn't expect anything too big, though. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. This dude came off of a torn ACL and just popped off with his young receiver core. Specifically towards the end of the season, he did kind of have a problem with turnovers, but that's nothing that he can't fix. I think cerebrally, his game will only evolve from this point. Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield. He was kind of banged up all season, and he didn't really produce like Browns fans wanted him to, but I think the Browns franchise themselves want to see him come back and see if he can produce when he's healthy. Dallas Cowboys, Dak came back from that terrible ankle injury and got back to good old Dak Prescott. I think he's very accurate, very clean, and I think him, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper, they're probably going to lose Michael Gallup this season. I think they'll only continue to produce on offense. Denver Broncos. I think Denver Broncos trade for Deshaun Watson, and they trade Drew Lock to the Texans. Deshaun doesn't want to go to Miami anymore now that Brian Flores isn't there, and I'm sure as heck that he doesn't want to go to the Panthers. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos were at the top of his destination list right now. Detroit Lions. Jared Goff started off kind of rough, but then picked it up towards the end of the season. It got the Lions a couple of wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions took a quarterback from the second round on, specifically Malik Willis. Green Bay Packers. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers changed his mind. I don't think he wants to leave. I think him and Matt LaFleur have something that they can build upon, and I think Aaron Rodgers is proud to be a Green Bay Packer. Houston Texans. There's no reason Davis Mills shouldn't be the day one starter next year for the Texans unless Drew Lock has an amazing, hypothetically an amazing training camp. Him and Tua have very similar numbers, and people consider Tua to be a decent quarterback. So I think given the fact that he was a rookie and he put up solid production, I think that's enough for him to start next year. Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz. I mean, he kind of disappointed in the last game. That could have took him to the playoffs. But, I mean, he's only starting to get paid more, but I'm sure the Colts aren't going to move on from him. I mean, they've only gotten 1 year of him. They want to see what he can do if he can come back from that. Jaguars, for a number 1 pick and being one of the highest draft prospects since Andrew Luck, you would think that Trevor Lawrence would probably have had a better season, or at least a couple of games where he popped off. But he didn't, unfortunately. But I think that we will see an increase in production this next coming season, but it probably won't be as big as people might think it is. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, that's all I got to say. Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr, I think that man bleeds black and silver. I don't think he's going to get traded anytime soon. I think he loves the Raiders, and the Raiders love him. I think it's a mutual relationship there. No reason to break that up. They just made the playoffs. Los Angeles Chargers, Herbo is turning into a top 5 quarterback before our eyes. This man can do everything. He's very accurate when he needs to be and has a huge arm. This guy's going to run the league for a long time. Los Angeles Rams, as the season went on, Matthew Stafford kind of had a turnover problem, throwing pick sixes very often. I could see him dropping in production next year, but dropping the turnovers as well. Miami Dolphins, I feel bad for Tua. That dude's in a terrible situation, but I think they're going to stick it out with him, whoever the Dolphins hire. And I think, I think I'll do good next year. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. Minnesota Vikings, I think if the Vikings obtain a offensive-minded head coach, that they can really see what Kirk Cousins is made of in this next and probably final year with Kirk Cousins making $45 million. If Kirk can produce and really prove to NFL fans around the world that he has that it factor, then I think the Vikings could be a playoff team. The Patriots, Mac Jones, if Jamar Chase didn't put up 11, 266, and 3, we'll probably be talking about him for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He did really good given his situation, and I don't expect much more production from him next year, however. New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston's going to come back healthy with Michael Thomas. I wouldn't expect too much from him, though. New York Giants, kind of the same thing with Daniel Jones. He's going to come back healthy. This is kind of a prove it or lose it season for Daniel Jones. He really needs to step it up and be the quarterback that the Giants thought he was when they drafted him. New York Jets, I think Zach Wilson has potentially elite-level arm talent that he'll continue to develop. I think he's going to do really good next year. Philadelphia Eagles, there's no reason why Jalen Hurts shouldn't be the franchise quarterback for the Eagles. I know a lot of fans probably don't think of him like that, but personally I do. Him and Lamar through their first 25 games have very similar stats. So you never know. Might win MVP next year, probably not, but we'll see. Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously Ben's done. I could see the Steelers picking Desmond Ridder specifically in the draft or bringing in Marcus Mariota through free agency, which could work out, could not. San Francisco 49ers, I think Trey pops off this coming year. I think he has everything, all the tools to do it on the ground and through the air. Seahawks, I think Russ stays. I don't think he wants to leave prior to what he may have thought at the start of the season. But him and Pete Carroll are a good duo, and I think they do well together. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not much more to say. It's Tom Brady. What do you expect? The dude's not digressing, which is terrifying. Tennessee Titans, they're the 1 seed right now. There's no reason for Tannehill to leave. I think the Titans are satisfied with the way Tannehill has been performing and will continue to do so. Finally, for my last team, the Washington football team, I think the Heineke experiment is over. I think they'll draft Matt Corral with their pick in the draft, and I think they'll have a decent rookie season. Thanks to everyone who dropped by and listened to our video. If you want to see more in the future, let us know. Me and Emilio really enjoy making this kind of content because it's something that we follow every day, and we had a lot of fun making this. So if you want to see more, let us know. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.